Oh, we give everything to our VTubers. Our company is VTuber first. Well, then it's not a very fucking good company, is it, bitch? It's not a very fucking good company if it's VTuber first. You should be money first. That's just the reality of the situation, because otherwise you're a shitty company. Everything has its pros and cons. Being in a company may make a lot of things easier, but the disadvantage is you don't really own your content, so graduation is literal death. Yeah! This is one thing about being a VTuber in a company, is all of those friends that you make, the network that you develop, the content that you make, you're most likely not gonna get to keep that. There's a lot of real, very strong downsides to being in a company, and this is something a lot of other people don't understand as well, is when you go into a company, it's not a golden ticket, they're just gonna give you everything. They'll give you a model, they'll give you rigging, but even in Hololive, you know that they have to pay for their own song covers, right? There are some, like, company-provided projects where they cover things, but, like, in general, if you want to do a song cover, you're paying for that out of pocket. If you want a background, you're paying for that out of pocket. There are some things that are provided to you, but in large, you're still finding artists on your own. It's going to be easier finding artists, because you can put out feelers, or you can ask your gen mates, or you can ask management, like, hey, will you look for somebody for me? But there's no guarantee that they're gonna give you those things. Yeah, games, you're still buying your own games. Do you feel maybe the friends of VTuber 핍킨피파 are not the friends of the real Pippa? Cause like, even though I put so much of myself into this, at the end of the day, I'm an IP owned by a company. So if I were to cease to exist for one reason or another, maybe it's a self-defense mechanism. Maybe it's my self-defense mechanism kicking in, because I'm nervous that if, like, I ever got kicked out, like, fired or whatever, I'd be losing those friendships without me being the one to end them. Alright, that's my last piece of advice. If you're a fucking new VTuber, I see you guys. Why are so many of you little assholes? Is it because being a VTuber is like the first form of content creation you ever did? Did you not have any fucking humility knocked into you? Jesus fucking Christ. I fucking hate so many of these new VTubers. I'm sorry, I sound like an old man or something yelling at clouds, but so many fucking new VTubers, they're like, you can't fucking talk about this and be a VTuber, you can't fucking, oh my god, you interacted with this other VTuber, well, they're fucking problematic, oh my god, you fucking, you don't like this or whatever, or fuck you if you do like this, you know, don't fucking shut the fuck up. New VTubers, they get a little bit of a following and it fucking gets to their head and they're like, yeah, I have 1,000 followers on Twitter. My average viewer count is about 30, but still I am the be-all, end-all experience of VTubers, and what I have to say is very important, and if you have different experiences, or if you disagree with me, I'm gonna fucking start shit with you, and it's like, well, listen, these people that make call-out posts over insane shit, right? Again, you just block them. I'm gonna shit on a bunch of VTubers right now. I think the problem with the bulk of VTubers is they're trying to cannibalize each other's audiences, and I think when you do that, you're very short-sighted. Just being a VTuber isn't enough anymore. This is very genuine advice. If you are setting your ceiling to Hololive, if you are defining yourself by the Hololive playbook or the Niji-Sanji playbook or whatever, you're never gonna grow. Because if you reach for the stars, you might land amongst the clouds. Which means if you're setting Hololive or Niji-Sanji as your stars, then you're gonna land around the mid-range of VTubers, and maybe that's enough for you. But that's your ceiling. You're basically trying to get popular by cannibalizing other people's audiences. People will be so fucking proud of themselves to hit 10 average viewers, right? People will be stuck with 0 viewers, and then they hit 10 average viewers, and they're like, oh my god. 10 average viewers, and then they'll be like, god, if only I could reach Twitch partner, I'd be happy. If only I'd reach Twitch partner, then I'd be happy. And then they hit Twitch partner, and guess what? They're not happy. Then they look at all these other streamers, and they're like, well, if only I could hit 100 average, right? And then you get to 100, and then it's like, oh well, god, I wish I was one of like the big streamers, you know, like, and then you could hit that point, and then it's, why am I not here? Why am I not here? Why am I not here? And it's the same thing. It's the same thing with anything, chat. You gotta learn to take pride in your accomplishments. No matter how small they are compared to other people, right? Because it's not about other people. comparing yourself to other people with them, making it about other people, how you stack up to other people, is where it becomes too much. There's always a higher mountain. But I feel like VTuber companies are fair game, you know? Because if they're not fair game, how are they gonna improve? If you can't speak your mind about VTuber companies as like products and stuff, then what's the incentive for them to improve? If everything had been a hug box since day one, if nothing ever got changed or nothing ever got fixed or whatever, or nobody ever shared their opinions out of fear of hurting somebody's feelings, without the will for stuff to change, stuff won't change. The only reason it would change is out of like personal desire, and usually personal desire is stuff like just wanting like a new outfit or whatever, you know? Criticism is productive. Bang blunt, mask off moment. I would be in a lot of trouble if people stopped donating to me, right? If I did not get any memberships and people did not donate at all, I would be in deep shit. That being said, that's kind of like with any job, right? I think I did agree with streamers at first in the beginning, but it was like not very well thought out of me. Because again, this is like my first job. Where streamers constantly complain about a lack of job security, as if that's not the same thing with literally every other fucking job. I know I'm throwing my own kind under the bus here, or whatever the fuck. But it's like streamers will go on and on. Like, oh, it's so hard and it's so scary because if this happens or if that happens... Yeah, it's the same fucking thing with any person that has a job. That's just how jobs work. Sometimes you lose them. Sometimes it's completely out of your control. That's just how it is. Chat, take this from me, right? Now, I'm not like a big celebrity or whatever, right? I think I've got like a decent following by this point, right? Like I'm not like a major YouTuber or whatever. But if there's anything I've learned, it's that sometimes people will say stuff about you that is just stupid, but at least they're talking about you. You know what I mean? So just let them. And sometimes you can like poke the beast a little bit. But like one of the things that's hard about staying relevant is staying in people's brains, right? People are very quick to forget about you. And if people don't have things to talk about, they tend to forget. You know what I mean? So, if you're going to be a content creator, if you see people that are saying things about you that are not true, 9 times out of 10, it does not matter. It's actually good. Okay? Like, it doesn't feel good, right? When you're like new to having people talk about you beyond like the average scope of which people talk about you, it's kind of like scary, and you feel the need to like clarify things that are wrong, right? It's like somebody says, oh, she canceled this stream so she could go play this other video game that came out, and she doesn't want to play it on stream because she hates us. It's like, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? When you first read stuff like that, you want to be like, no. Like, here we go. I'll overcompensate. Like, I'll play that game on stream so people don't think that I hate them, or so like, or I'll just like come out and say this or that. But it literally does not matter. And if anything, it's good. Like, I know that might sound like cope, but when people are talking about you, if they're not talking about things that are like actually damaging to you, it's worth just letting them talk. This is how a lot of lolcows get made, okay? A lot of lolcows spawn into existence because they read shit that people are saying about them, and they feel like they have to respond. They feel like they have to clarify. They feel like they have to make excuses, or they have to like publicize everything about themselves so that way people understand the bigger picture. And it doesn't necessarily come from like a narcissistic place, right? It's not people trying to be like, oh no, I never do anything wrong or whatever, right? It's people that just don't know how to handle people saying stuff like that about them, right? That's why like a lot of people with like mental disabilities will end up becoming lolcows on the internet, because it's like sometimes people like just genuinely can't tell, and they feel like the need to explain. And just in general, it does not matter in the sense that like it's not gonna hurt you. You know what I mean? Like, you might feel the need to correct this or that. Maybe you said something and it didn't come out the way you intended, and you feel like if you just explain yourself better, that it'll be resolved, right? But like, that turns like the nothing burger into you have now put a target on your back. And that is my advice to any beginner content creators.
is, say you say something really stupid by accident, right? And you're like, fuck, this was stupid of me to say. Let me just clarify. Don't do that. Just ignore it, okay? Literally just ignore it. It's like, imagine bringing rioters into the town hall for a town meeting. You know what I mean? It's just not, you just don't do it. And some of those people that are also outside, you know, they're not necessarily rioters or whatever, right? They're just people talking. But now there is a riot inside the town hall and you're trying to have a meeting, and those people that were just like hanging around talking about whatever just happened to be in the area, right? Those are like the casual fans and stuff, the people that just popped in that are not familiar with like the culture as much, whatever. Whether the situation is real or not, whether it is something that actually happened and people somehow caught on to it, or whether it's something you actually fucked up on, or whether it's something that is just a complete lie somebody made up, or maybe it's just a batshit insane schizo post, right? The second you bring it into the town hall, now it's a riot. You leave that outside. You leave that outside. You don't bring that inside. I've had to learn this lesson many times. Because while they're outside talking, it looks to other people like it's like just a lot of people are interested in going to the town hall, right? From their perspective, it is not like it's not all a riot yet. There's some rioters maybe off in the corner, but you know, like the building's not burning from the inside. So just stop.
There's a lack of self-responsibility within a lot of people that audition, I feel like. And that's why you get so many fucking idiots going on Twitter like, oh, well, girl only got in because she had a huge following before this, and fucking, this other person only got in because they already knew the people that were in, blah, blah, blah. No. There's literally nothing stopping you from putting in the fucking work yourself. Except for your incessant whining and blaming of other people. That's just all there is to it. I'm sorry. That's just all there is to it. You can whine and complain and be like, well, blah, 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 blah. Take some fucking responsibility for yourself. If you want to be in Hololive, and you're like, girl only got in because she had a big following before, then amass a fucking following and apply again, motherfucker. Did she develop her personality, her comedy? I know the idea of personality and comedy are really hard for you to wrap your little fucking brain around, but yeah, that's something that people actually work on to develop. It's not something that you can just copy paste from the fucking internet. Yeah, I know you're so used to going on TikTok and taking other people's audio and doing a little fucking voice dub of that shit, and you call it a day there. And you know what? Congratulations if that works for you. But you know, the reason it's probably not working is because you don't make anything original. All you do is bitch, complain, take other people's content, and co-opt other people's movements or gimmicks or whatever, trying to ride off the fucking coattails. And that is why you are not successful. Because you are entitled, you are lazy, and you have no personality. Other than being a bitch. I think I've done pretty well, right? I think I'm in a pretty great spot. I'm way farther along than I ever hoped to be. And if you look at where I am now, and you look at just, if you put it in the context of just how long I've been in Face Connect, then it's like, wow, you know, that's fucking amazing growth. Good job. Yeah, Pippa's only existed for 1 year. Yeah. Pippa has only existed for 1 year. You don't know all of the shit that came before this. I always get emotional when I talk about this shit, so I don't want to go too deep into this crap, but like, I was fucking skipping school to record videos. I dropped out of high school to fucking do YouTube. I fucking ruined so many friendships. Lost so many good connections. Squandered so many good opportunities. Because this is all that I have ever been passionate about. And so you might look and be like, well, Pippa's only been here for 1 year. Yeah, well, there was somebody before this who was doing YouTube for years and years and years and trying different things. Going sleepless nights, spending all their fucking money, doing what they could to try and make it. So yeah, I have a lot of knowledge that I took with me from that and applied to this. So I had a bit of a head start. I had a pretty fucking big head start because I have tried and I have failed over and over and over. And if you aren't willing to fail, then you're not gonna make it. And you might not care about your failures. That's another thing, is people will look at people, they'll be like, oh, well, this person they just do whatever they want. They don't care if they fail. That doesn't change the fact that they're still failing. They're failing and they're getting back up. They don't care, but they're still going through that. You can't look at somebody and say, well, Gura never, like, aggressively tried to get popular, you know? She was never, like, fucking baiting the algorithm or doing this or buying followers or whatever the fuck. So, obviously, like, she wasn't really trying. She was taking things at her own pace. And she was still failing with some things, even if she didn't consider it a failure. If you were in her shoes, right? You had your current mindset, you probably would have viewed it as a failure, if that's like what your mindset is. You can't take other people's situation and use it as a scapegoat for why life is unfair to you. It's not unfair, it just is what it is. It just is what you make of it. It is what you decide to do, how you decide to approach it. And that's how I recommend you take it going forward.